Thank you for joining us to receive a historic proclamation declaring April 29 to be End Jew Hatred Day in the 38th New York State Senate District. This is a momentous occasion for all of us, and I would like to start by thanking Senator Elijah Reichlin Melnick for his courage to recognize this important day and for standing with us to end Jew hatred in this generation. I would also like to thank the Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education, not just for hosting this event, but for playing such an influential role in making this day a reality. Without their vision, dedication, passion, and hard work, we would not be here celebrating the first ever End Jew Hatred Day. It is very poignant to gather here in the Holocaust Museum the day after Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Remembrance Day. Here, we are surrounded by history, a history that has not always been kind to the Jewish people. But despite the centuries of genocidal persecution and pogroms, the Jewish people have never stopped honoring and celebrating our traditions, heritage, and faith, and we have never given up on the dream of finally ending Jew hatred in our generation. We have never stopped bettering ourselves and our world, fighting for liberation and redemption for all. Jews have participated prominently in virtually every civil rights effort in the American experience, fighting against discrimination and bigotry, united in support for equality and the respect of human dignity. We have marched side by side with the African American community. We have supported the women's movement, the LGBTQIA+ community, and every religious, ethnic, or national group struggling for equal rights. Jewish people have been front and center, advocating for social, economic, and political causes of every kind. We have helped gain results for racial justice and gender equality, and for minority rights movements that have literally altered public discourse and helped change policies and culture. But despite the advances made in promoting social justice for other minority groups, the Jewish community continues to be subjected to Jew hatred, expressing as both discrimination and violence, targeting Jews for our religious, cultural, ethnic, and national identities, and seeking to deny and appropriate our history, including our indigenous connection to our ancestral homeland. Even as hate crimes directed against the Jewish community have skyrocketed, there has never been a Jewish civil rights movement until now. End Jew Hatred is a grassroots civil rights movement working to eliminate Jew hatred through peaceful direct action and education. It is a movement focused solely on assuring that the civil and human rights of the Jewish people are protected by law, and that we enjoy full and equal inclusion in our society. Our basic civil rights as a minority community in America are being violated, and often foreign politics are used as an excuse. Too many Jewish students on American college campuses are literally being beaten up and discriminated against, with the so-called Israeli-Palestinian conflict used as an excuse for such bigotry. Jewish people in the workplace are being targeted because of their Zionist identity, which is an intrinsic part of our cultural, ethnic, and religious beliefs. As a nonpartisan and non-political movement, we work to alter public discourse and make Jew hatred unacceptable in contemporary society, empowering Jews with positivity and pride and strength to discover and enjoy their heritage in whichever manner they choose to, without fear of attack or persecution. It is because of courageous acts like that of Senator Reichlin Melnick that we are finally getting closer to eradicating the darkness that Jew hatred is, by bringing these issues to light and forcing recognition of systemic problems that must be solved. The Jewish community has stood up for so many other people and causes, but it is now time to also stand up for ourselves, to empower ourselves, and demand a world in which Jew hatred is unacceptable. Now is the time for a civil rights movement of and for the Jewish people. Now is the time for all the minority groups that we have stood for to stand for us too. This is what the End Jew Hatred movement is. This is what End Jew Hatred Day is all about. On End Jew Hatred Day, the day after Yom HaShoah, we draw from the strength of previous generations to ensure that the intergenerational trauma of the past shall never be repeated. On End Jew Hatred Day, we contemplate the promise of a bright future that can only be achieved by fighting against systemic racism and bigotry today. We look forward to a future without Jew hatred, a future in which Jew hatred is as unacceptable in society as every other form of racism and bigotry. On End Jew Hatred Day, we commit to working together to achieve this future. End Jew Hatred Day is a day that belongs to all of us, a day that we can all take pride in. It is a day that recognizes our collective strength through unity in a simple message. We will end Jew hatred in our lifetime. Thank you.